Stop hopping from planner to planner when the problem is really you. I know what you're thinking, the nerve, but you know. If you have issues with 10 different planners and the common denominator amongst all of those planners is you, the problem is likely you. We have to be honest with ourselves, and the good news here is that you are not alone. I'm pretty sure that a lot of us, and I do mean us, go through the same thing. Probably around about 67% of us planner lovers fall into the trap of planner instability when it feels like nothing works. And I know I said 67%, it sounds all statistical and everything, but it's a number I made up. However, I think I'm probably right. So there's safety in numbers, and that's the good news here. Another bit of good news is the fact that I'm going to give you some tips on how to become a better planner overall. Before I forget, I am Kim, and this is where I share videos all about planners mostly, also other things I'm interested in life, productivity kind of stuff, random stuff, all of those bits and bobs in between. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. There are a few key considerations when it comes to becoming a better planner, and that doesn't matter if it's analog planning with pen and paper or digital planning. This just boils down to any kind of planner that helps you get your life together and keep it there. So the first tip I would have is to try new things, to use some stuff. I know I just said that we're using 10 different planners and we're hopping and we're changing and all of that other stuff. But the key differentiator here is that you're using things in order to get a better sense of how these things work. We don't want to take the information from social media or seeing how other people use these things. We want to know how it's going to work for us. So my point here is, though we are planner people and we use a bunch of different planners, we just don't want to get stuck in a rut. So being comfortable moving around throughout different planner systems is something that's really going to help you understand how a lot of the planner systems work. So I encourage you, get out there, mix, mingle, find out who you like, what you like, if you like it. And being fluid in that way opens your mind to understanding, like I said, how the different planner systems work, and better yet, how they might work for you. And not only how they might work, but when. The when of it all, I think, is sometimes what we lose hold of. Because a planner system could be perfect and could have worked for you back in college. But that doesn't mean that it's going to work for you right now when you're in a corporate job and you just have other life responsibilities going on. So while it's a great system, it just doesn't work for you right now. Therefore, try new things, but definitely do it armed with the knowledge of why certain things might work for you, how they might work for you, and when they'll work for you. So after we use some stuff, next we're going to audit the stuff. I do feel like this is the most important tip in this video, and I'm not going to make you wait until the end to get it. It's the most important tip of the video because this is really giving us the tools to understand how to assess the different planner systems that we're using. You have to have a firm grasp on the types of things that you need from your planner system in order to understand whether or not it's going to work for you. Without that information, you're wasting a lot of time. You're going in blind to just picking up a million different planners and not understanding from the outset if this thing is actually going to help you. Again, we're looking at whether or not it helps someone else, but we really have to have a firm understanding and knowledge of ourselves and what we need. That's where the planner audit equips us with the knowledge we need to make those determinations. I have a previous video going in depth all about planner audits, what I feel the most important steps are, so I won't drag you through all of that information right now. I will give you the long and short of it. So the brief overview is you want to assess what's working for you and what's not working for you. And when I say assess, I mean assess. Like really dig in there, get into all of the details and all of the nitty gritty. While I think it's very easy for us to assess things that don't work, we can pull out the things that we hate far easier sometimes than we can pull out the things that we love beyond just saying we love them. We have to kind of understand why we actually love them, why they appeal to us, why they work best for our personalities. Once that's done, we want to consider what the most perfect planner might be. If you could create it, sky's the limit, money is no object. What would the most perfect planner be for you? This step allows you to cobble together all of the most important areas of a planner system that you feel would be pertinent to your life. And once you have that in mind, you'll move on to figuring out your own planner personality. I put together a freebie that is linked in that video that goes over a few of the different planner personalities. This is nothing set in stone. There could be so many more, but a few to just jog your thinking about the different types of personalities that inform the types of planners that we might want to use. And then the last step in the planner audit is to actually craft the system that is best for you. Like I said, cobbling together all those important pieces and parts, putting them into a system that will likely work best for you, and then using that system. And we may audit once a year, once a season. It's really up to you. You might find that in your system, different needs are best suited to different tools. And that's perfectly fine. It doesn't have to be something that's all encompassing in one specific book or in one specific tool. Understanding what you need is paramount in becoming the best possible planner you can be. So we're holding on to all those things that will work, all those things that we love, and we're tossing out everything else. But definitely check that video out if you want more in-depth details about all of the planner audit tools that I think would be most helpful. And the next step is to analyze this stuff. And the best way to do that is to actually use it. Kind of like a use case study. We can't get this information or this scientific data, even though it's really not all that scientific, unless we use the system that we have determined might be the best for us. And in that analyzing, you'll realize that certain things that maybe you thought would be wonderful for you are not so wonderful. Certain things that you thought were not that important at the outset turn out to be the most important part for you. So we're doing a lot of analyzation and figuring out what's going to work and what's not, testing the waters. Nothing is set in stone. We're not married to anything that we put together, but we're using all of these things to just better inform the planner system, but most importantly, better inform the type of planner that you are. We're gathering the data required to better understand your needs. And in capturing all that data over time, we will begin to feel like those routines get stable and firm, and that stability is exactly what we want. Having that stability reduces stress, decreases anxiety, improves your decision-making skills, and just makes you a better person overall. We need that stability. She is our friend. We love her. Stability is important. All right, so once that routine is stable and we are set on all of that and how that works for us, we are going to use some more stuff. This next tip, I just didn't want to let go of the stuff, phrases and references, but it could be said that we are delving into the future use of all of that stuff that we've been trying out. And this is kind of a subset of the last tip with stable routines. We want to set up a calendar of recurring tasks and recurring events that we know are important, that we know we need to stay on top of on a regular basis. As we notice patterns of those recurring items, we can keep those at the forefront of our mind when we go to plan out our time. It goes such a long way to helping future you. And that's really what the point of all of this is. Making sure that future you is the best version of yourself that you can be. Because being a great planner is not only about focusing on the current you, but it helps to set future you up for success so that you're minimizing the potential for future stressors. And to round this all out, to make these simple tips even simpler, we are not going to stress. We're not going to stress about the stuff. We're going to relax, because keeping up with the tracker should not feel like work. Keeping up with the tracker should not cause undue anxiety. I mean, that's weird, but it happens. So we want to just relax. Allow these tools to work for us, not against us. And if at any time it does feel stressful, it's okay to take a step back. Maybe it's time to just not use a planner at all, or maybe it's time to do another planner audit to maybe incorporate additional things, or better yet, take some things out that are adding to the stress in life. Using a planner is meant to make the work part of life easier. It should not in and of itself be actual work. So with all these things in mind, the goal is for you, yourself, the person, to become a better planner. The tools that we use to do that are not like magical, mystical, evil even. They're not terrible. It's about the way that we use the tools. It's about having a great knowledge about how the tools are supposed to work, how they should work, and then picking the ones that will work best for us. Knowing how to pick the right tool really boils down to understanding what you need, what you like, and what you're willing to add to your life in order to make it easier. So I hope all of these tips were helpful in helping us all grasp the idea of how we can become a better planner. If you found these tips helpful, please definitely give this video a thumbs up. And you might want to check out this video for additional info and tips along the same lines. Thank you so much for following along on today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.